WUJM, St. Petersburg.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Doctors in the House Health Show on 99.1 FM, WUJM, St. Petersburg Community Radio. We have an excellent program for you tonight. Please stay tuned. Hey, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Doctors in the House, your health show. It's a program about wellness, mental health, and disease prevention. I am Dr. Morency, your host. Thank you for tuning in to 99.1 FM, WUGN St. Petersburg, Florida. Or those of you listening online, welcome, 99jamtheberg.com. Please call us at 727-637-2416 for any feedback or concern. Our topic today is how to strengthen your spiritual foundation for optimal health, part 2. The subtitle is The Tools to Get It Done. This is the 4th show in the series that I'm doing in collaboration with Dr. Carolle Jean-Murat, dealing with the challenge of causality between chronic stress, chronic disease, exactly as to what ultimately is the root causes of our health problem. In our initial show about chronic stress, we'd agree and discuss that our body was not really designed to sustain stress on such a chronic basis. And it's a system that was designed for emergent conditions, because if we have to go through chronic daily stress, eventually the body will break. And let's be clear about this as a reminder. Well, the fact that what we routinely call stress is actually an event, whether tragic or otherwise. It's an external situation, daily conditions, or worse, it could be even a thought that we respond to that we perceive as a threat or a danger. So we make all the interpretation internally in response to an external trigger. Some people are more susceptible to the effect of those external events than others. There are plenty of examples. We touch on some. You see, two people can have the same situation, the same circumstances, either accident or some kind of trauma. But you'll find some individual can face the trauma, the same external circumstances, and is unable to move on from the effect of the external event or the trauma, and eventually would subsequently become sick. So when you have somebody with chronic stress, obviously there are many, many questions, some of them we're not even asking. So in that current conundrum with people with chronic health issue, all right, can we count on the result of an abnormal lab or imaging study that we get back from our medical evaluation? Can that be sufficient to answer those dilemmas? I don't think so. Can you also depend on a problem with a pill or pills that somebody has to take on a permanent basis? Obviously, those are very difficult issues. So for us, let's not be too really quick to close the deal when we're faced with those situations, okay? Let's ask questions. Why, until we get to the bottom of it. To be honest with you, even when we did the first show on chronic stress, after what I think was a very successful show, one which generated a lot of positive feedback from most of our listeners, I felt and realized that essentially we were eloquently stating facts, but in fact we're going in circle. And amazingly enough, that same evening after the show, I did receive confirmation from my colleague and guest, Dr. Carolle, that her feeling was the same, and actually she was more clear than I ever was, that we were doing just business as usual. We were not bringing solution to people's problem. So she had let me know that we needed to move in a different direction, a direction that addressed the real underlying reason why people get sick or broken down, and to go and find the root causes by asking more why. So even the patients should be asking whys as well. And if you've been following those shows, at least for the last 2 shows, you must have 3 shows, we must realize that by the second show, Dr. Carolle had changed the tone. And I remember when I decided to call the second show How to Deal with Our Chronic Stress, and she changed it. She changed it to the importance of living our life in balanced mind, body, and soul in order to achieve optimum health. And that's the essence of it. Okay, we gotta go deeper. And in that show, you know, I asked her a question and she responded. She said to me, kind of in a very childish way, "But doc, there is no other way. If you want to enjoy optimum health, you gotta cover all those spheres." So the last show we had, How to Strengthen Your Spiritual Foundation for Optimum Health, Part 1, we discussed how having a strong spiritual foundation is necessary to enjoy optimum health, and how those who are able to deal with stress, which are the root cause of most disease, those folks have no place in their life for toxic emotion. You know, those things we kind of discussed, you know, the worries, the guilt, long-term grief, regret, resentment, etc. And in that show, Dr. Carolle even reported that 95% of her sick patients, they do have a weakened spiritual foundation. So today we're going to continue with the strengthening of your spiritual foundation for optimum health, but it's part 2. In part 2, she will, based on her long experience and personal and clinical, she's going to offer her the tool so that we can do it. Dr. Carolle, welcome again. Welcome and thank you. I like the direction where you're taking us.
Thank you.
We appreciate your expertise and your guidance. So
thank you for having me and letting me share with our listeners what I've been doing privately with my private patients for the past 40 years.
No, we appreciate it. As a matter of fact, I went to your website, and my God, you have stuff there. So you're a busy lady. One thing, let me go on and just remind my audience, especially those who probably may have not heard all your credential. Dr. Carolle is a board-certified OBGYN, a primary care specialist, and award-winning author. And for the past few years, she's been working as an intuitive health consultant and teacher. And she's also the director of an innovative Type 2 remission program. Doctor, welcome. And I trust you're gonna really teach us, instruct us, inform us about the tool for strengthening. Actually, I like the way you put it, the soul, and getting rid of those toxic
and emotions.
And up to, so we can enjoy optimum health.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So for me, I just put a little thing there and the thing. I just wanted to really see if you had a nice, crisp definition of a soul. What is the soul of a human being, really? Before you plunge into this.
Let's put it this way. For example, I feel it's my soul talking to you. I'm coming from, it's my soul. It's how I perceive life. But also, I'm connected to a higher power, to others, to the things that we don't see.
Yeah,
and it's different for each person. It's different, and like you said, the stronger it is. And I use the metaphor again, so our listeners, it's like you building a house. So your spirit, your soul, your connection to a higher power in the universe is the foundation of the house. So when it's strong, you can build the walls, which is your mind, and then your body is the roof. So when the roof is leaking or the windows are cracking, it's always the foundation. And I am blessed that I come from a family of spiritual healers, and I was raised by a woman who died when she was 87 in perfect health because she said, Daddy, I cannot clean myself. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go. She always said that. And then she just, within one afternoon, she woke up. She's getting weaker and weaker. She said, I cannot go to church. Goodbye. And I have seen her going through a lot of adverse events, and she never flinched.
Yeah, sure.
So I have a role model in her. And she was there to show me, to teach me that. Mm-hmm.
So you said the stronger our soul, the better we can deal with stresses and stuff of being victimized.
So you can deal with it. But what happened is, what comes to mind is just like we have a rain on an umbrella.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It just rains and it doesn't sink into the umbrella.
Okay. All right.
That's the image that just came to me. Yes.
So what are the tools that you have, really specifically?
Okay.
To
so
help
I
your
have put
patients
a list of the tools that have helped me and my patients over the years. But I have to mention also, I didn't have the faith that my grandmother had. But before she died, she felt I could, if the best thing I could do in my life. And it took me having a panic attack and learning, having people at the right time, teachers. That's what I'm teaching people. That's what I'm expressing. I'm sharing to tell me, you come from a family of healers. You come from a spiritual people. But you decided, you chose science. You chose concrete things. Yes. And then that's what now when life is, giving you're finding yourself in a situation, you have no way to react. So, and then I had to relearn that. At first, she taught me the mind-body connection. Why my patients were coming and bleeding. Ask them why they're bleeding. But then after that, when I had my panic attack, when I was like going to go on 50, and then she said to me, she taught me about the spirit, the mind-body-soul connection. There's the soul, because if whatever situation you have, like me, it was my career, I'm able to ask the patients why they're bleeding. I don't do surgery. I don't feel there is no way out, but I have nothing to fall back on. Yeah. So I had a panic attack. She said, okay, time to start. I have to go to my grandmother. So when I say living in faith, and then like I said, I've lived with somebody in faith. It means many things to many people, but it's believing in something greater than yourself.
Sure.
That is there for you 24/7. And I go to Haiti, and it's not, my doctor doesn't prescribe me this, my doctor doesn't do that test. Mm-hmm. When I go to our small hospital, especially, I remember years ago after the earthquake, I didn't have a pharmacy. I didn't have anything to give to them. And then so I realized, I remember my grandmother, so I started, let's pray.
Yeah.
So I started praying. I said, you better say, God, help me.
Whatever tool you can use.
Yes, whatever tool you can use. And then that's when and then after that I realized, wait a minute, that's what it was, my body, now the soul. And I'm thinking, wow, this is why my patient, and me personally being sick, I didn't have that strong. And do you know what they did? Is like my grandmother and said, I don't have time for this. Jesus, take it. Well, it depends on your religion, whomever you believe. Okay, but as long as you have somebody. And then these people, they will come. And I said, how come they're in peace? It's because they said, Doc, I have children to feed. I know things are hard, and I've seen people being killed. I've seen all that, but today I live in the moment, and I say, Jesus, take care of it, and they believe, and then and so this is what I have about faith. Some quotes to live by: faith within the belief system, religious or not, that is all powerful, merciful, forgiving, understanding, can only strengthen your relationship with God.
Well, you know that
Go ahead.
the science is coming around, though. I mean, spirituality has always been ahead, the lead. So now you could see we're trying to incorporate some level of spirituality, and because the outcome is so much better, and that's which is basically validate what you're saying, so to speak. So.
It is, and this is I've been leading my life, and then so one of the quotes. Faith is confidence that you will receive what you desire before you actually have it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And walk by faith and not by sight. Corinthians 5:7. Yep.
And some of the major scientists, even Einstein, at the end of their career or somewhere, they realize there's a power greater than the science, than their intelligence. Intelligence is a very sharp knife that can hurt sometimes. So
that's it.
You have to have other things to fall back into. And I think having a system, well, if you look at it really, I mean, the element that control the universe are within us. So we are connected to this already.
We are connected. We just have to find a way and believe we have the help. We're not alone.
Get our act together.
Yes, and then it might be difficult. For some people, it's very difficult. Like for me, when you have childhood trauma, it's very difficult. When you do not have a teacher, when you have somebody as strong as my grandmother, so I had a role model all my life.
Yes.
So the other thing is the power of prayers.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, power of prayers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, what is a prayer? In the Christian faith and other spiritual tradition is a way of being and relating to God. Set order of words is used in praying. It can be part of this liturgy, ritual, whatever it is, depends on of who you are and whatever faith you follow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It can be a song, an incantation. But a prayer, to me, remember I told you, I found out that when you have the faith. Now, when you're praying with faith,
mm-hmm.
people don't realize that having the faith of the mustard seed, they say that in the Bible, and uttering what you need is enough for your demand to be granted. See, all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive. Matthew 21:22.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what do I do when I was with the patients? When I was in Haiti, let's talk about Haiti. I have no medication. Even though I could do surgery, and then there is no operating room. Anyway, so no electricity, no water. So even those people have a strong faith. So that's what I tell them. So when I have a line of patients waiting, especially after the earthquake, and they cannot sleep, whatever issues they have, and then they're destroyed, they're having nightmares and everything. So I held their hand, I look at them in the eyes, and I said, you need to pray and ask because they believe in Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I said, and they say, it's an incantation. Ask and you shall receive. I said, remember, ask. I said, what do I want to do? I want to sleep. I want this trauma. I want the nightmares to stop. I want to stop bleeding. I want to be able to. I want. And I just say, amen.
Yes.
Amen. That means, and so it is.
I have.
And the next, I remember, see, I grew up saying, oh no, by the time in my 20s, no, there is no God. And then when I had the panic attack in my 50s, then my therapist said to me, you better go back to what keep your family. You're the only one who went to college and you were a doctor. You're the only one with panic attacks. And then
go back to your strength. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And then but then it's not the stress. They had stress.
No, the strength.
I didn't have the backbone on how to deal with it. So and letting go. And then so I remember first my therapist had me go through my grandmother because I didn't have any faith, remember? But she said one day will come to you one day. Mm-hmm. And then I prayed that night, her prayer, Jesus, sweet Jesus, the Lord of the strong, help me, I'm weak. And that's what I've been using for my patients who to remind them they have it within them in that connection. And it happened, let me tell you a short personal story.
Sure.
After being in Haiti for 2 weeks, I'm tired, everything is upside down. And then I had gone to we do scholarship for a school, so I was there with the Jesuit school, and then there was the picture of Jesus, the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the one my grandmother had in her house. And it said, Jesus, j'ai confiance en toi. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh. And I remember seeing it. And that night, I am ill. I had just gone to deliver a baby, and there was no IV, there was no fluid, there is nothing, and I'm having diarrhea and nausea. And I'm throwing up, I'm having diarrhea, and then I'm feeling getting weak. And then in the village where I am, the ambulance had a flat tire. So I am going to die. And I said, oh, my God, I guess I'm going to die. And then all of a sudden, I saw the image saying, why don't you ask me? And I said, you see what I do? Ask me. And I'm thinking, but I can't, I don't have that faith. And then it seems that my grandmother and all my ancestors, they came and said, just ask.
They reach out to you to lead the way.
To lead the way.
Yeah.
And then so what I did, when my patients come to heal, let's say they have pain in the stomach, I would say, just put your left hand where it's hurting, put your right hand on top of it, and just breathe, and then ask. And then I say, and then hear me, I'm not doing it in faith. I just say,
yeah.
Jesus, j'ai confiance en toi. J'ai confiance en toi. Help me. And I look at the clock, it was 9:30 in the evening. And the next thing I heard,
Yeah.
I look at the clock, it's 6:30 in the morning. I slept for 9 hours, and I was totally healed. So I call it my personal healing miracle. So that's what I teach. Oh, yes.
Well, you know, I have two very vivid examples in my own family. My grandmother lived until she died at the age of 101. I never really remember she went to a doctor, but she had her spirituality. She had her sources. Yes. She had her faith. She had her belief. And she walked to everywhere. As a matter of fact, the first time she ever been to the hospital was for an appendicitis at age 99.
99.
So
my grandmother never went to the hospital.
And then here, my mother-in-law was very religious. You know, she always defined her priority. She said, "My first priority is God. My second priority is my family, and my third is my doctors." And this, she said that because she lived a good portion of her life in the United States, and bless her heart, she died at 96 years old.
Yep.
Those are people. Everything is God.
Yeah.
And then you say,
and that strength and that connection. And so let's move on because we have limited time.
I know. But those are the things that most people don't deal with. Actually, yeah, I agree. But yeah, let's go to the forgiveness, because I've heard that so many places.
That's the only thing. This, to me, most people who come to me, they're keeping the grudges, the toxic emotion, and the neutralizer is practicing forgiveness. And especially those who have past trauma, you know, they have anger, they, you know, resentment, desire to punish. So one of the things, because I have the book on my website, How to Learn to Forgiveness, so they can, if anybody wants to know more, they can always go and download it. It's right there. So learn to forgive yourself. No more guilt, no more remorse. And learn to forgive others.
Well, the other thing also is I love and accept myself. That's extremely important too.
Yes.
You gotta love yourself.
You have to love and accept yourself. Just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
Let go of regret and everything. You should, you could, you would. No.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And that's actually really stopped people also in the path of spirituality, because they still have this thing about themselves. They carry so many what you describe as toxic emotions.
Emotions. I call it toxic emotions.
And,
yes.
and that really can get you in trouble. So forgive others.
I need to add something. We both doctors. We talk autoimmune disease. Auto this you, immune, so you are essentially eating yourself up.
Absolutely.
Those emotions are eating yourself up.
Absolutely. You see, the problem is when we deal with our current environment and system where the level of spirituality, actually, it's less than 50% people who actually believe in the spirituality. And you could see the consequence. You could see the result because so many people are sick unnecessarily. You're right. Time is flying. I've been giving the message. Yeah.
We should think how do we do with the two shows. So we to forgive, learn to forgive others. First, listen. Number 6. I think we have 13. Learn to deal with regrets. What was that whole lot and said, especially a bunch of people now during the COVID. It went higher. We had a viral pandemic. Now we're having a mental pandemic.
Absolutely.
Think, I wasn't there for the person. I should have. I could have. Blah 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 blah. And my favorite quote are: "Regrets are the cancer of life. Guilt serves no purpose. Today is the day to let go."
Today is the day, the present day, the present moment.
To let go of the past.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for tomorrow for? Do it today.
So today is the day to let go.
Number 7.
You make that decision because people think, okay, if I eat all these organic things, drink water and everything, I'm going to perfect health. No.
Yeah.
This is those toxic emotions that are eating you up. Like the wall, have you ever done any remodeling in your home? You see the beautiful wall, and then there were termites inside eating them up.
I know.
They say, Mom, you have to do the whole wall again. In the surface, it looks fine.
Let's touch number 7.
That's what's killing us.
Let's not number 7 and number 7 is
excuse me. Deal with worries, and I'm going to give you. If you have a strong faith, you don't have to worry. Casting all your care upon Him, for He cares for you. Peter 5:7. 8. Live in gratitude. This is very important. If you see everything that is happening in your life as a blessing, then those little things, those other things. Then when they happen, you keep it in front of you. You write down everything you're grateful for. And then whenever there is a question, go and read it. And you're going to say, oh, my God.
And
then you say, thank you, God, for all my blessings you gave to me.
That's the first thing I learned in yoga, actually,
Yes.
Be grateful for the day. You wake up in the morning, you breathe, you breathe, and you look around, your loved one out there. My God, you should be thankful and see a blessing.
I get up in the morning. Yeah. I can breathe. And then so I have about 15 things on my gratitude list. Now I'm living in gratitude. I'm living in spirit. I don't have to even say it. I know it's a knowledge.
I understand.
But if you're starting, but I'm not sick. I'm in perfect health. Yeah. The only thing I go to is dentist, and then when I have a fall, I go to physical therapy. I don't take any medication. I'm going to be 72. And I look 50.
Wow.
People say, "Oh my God!"
You sound actually 50. You sound like a young person, man. When I first heard you were in your 70s,
that's my spiritual age.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I have all the energy, and then because I just connect, it's just like
surround yourself with people who truly walk in faith. That's number 9,
and that's like my grandmother. And Oprah said, surround yourself only with people who will take you higher.
Behavior are contagious. So surround yourself with people who can actually, help you. Period. Number 10 and I've seen that before. Be part of a
spiritual, of a religious community. You have to.
When I did the Blue Zone, that's very important to those people who live over 100 years without being sick and stuff like that. They live in a religious community, spiritual aspect. They volunteer also. There's so many things that are not related.
There were so many things you can do.
With the pills or tests.
To me, the most important for especially people who are sick is not only you can go and volunteer somewhere. You have to be part of a spiritual or religious community.
Yeah.
You have to be. You can go and volunteer, okay, but
volunteer is one of them. Yeah.
One of them. But I'm talking the most important thing is being part of a spiritual or religious community.
Okay.
So it could be your church, but whatever, there has to be, like on Sunday or the Sabbath, or, depends on your religion, where you go and you are worshiping.
Well,
People around you to remind you, you are not just your body.
The way I put it,
you have to.
The way I put it, we all hooked to our phone now. But every day we have to charge our phone. So
yes.
is ourselves. We have to be charged. We have to be connected.
Our spirit.
To get our energy running and energize ourselves.
Spiritual energy.
So, my God, I cannot believe this. I mean, are you sure we only have time? Okay.
Quickly.
What?
How long do we have?
Time for conclusion, actually.
11. Okay. The most important thing: surrender to a higher power.
Okay.
Let go and let God, and that's what the people who are not sick. I ask them. They say, "I just surrender."
Yeah.
I put my ego, put it under sit on it, and I let go and believe that all things unfold in divine order. That's it.
And then those are daily practice, daily ritual, every hour.
Yes.
I mean, this. In other words, you cannot do this haphazardly. You got to commit. You got to really get the faith strong, develop, practice praying. Praying.
Yeah.
The evidence of praying is very obvious, and being backed up by scientists. So, in conclusion, what would you say to how do you summarize this for folks?
Ask yourself, why is it my spiritual backbone is not as strong, and what do I plan to do with it? The second one is, what any toxic emotion that I harbor, that I'm keeping in, and how do I'm going to get rid of them?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Carolle, we're going to have to find a way to get a little longer hour for this, because this is an important conversation. See, those things are, we're not listening to that. You got to go to church sometime to listen to this. But this is something even people in the healing profession should be engaged in, to really empower folks, to really
the pastor, the preacher. Remind them, your best doctor, you connected. You just ask, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, heal me.
Well, Doctor,
you have the faith, and then of course, I have to say, you said, help yourself, and I will help you. So you don't go and just do horrible things. There has to be a balance in everything. You don't just go and just pray. It's a balance.
Oh, my good doctor, thank you on behalf of everybody. And folks, if you really want to learn more, please visit her website, www.drcarolle.com, DRCAROLLE.com. And I checked it out. Fascinating. Treasure trove there. You can.
Yes, and they have a book on forgiveness. That's my best-selling book.
Forgive yourself and others, and how to unleash your future by freeing yourself from past trauma. All those things.
Yes.
And for you folks who've been listening, thank you very much. And for more questions about this show, a copy of this show will be posted on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Morency. Feel free to comment on YouTube and contact the radio for feedback. And this is, we accept donation. This is a community radio, so we need every support you can get. And to call, here's the number again, 727-637-2416. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, doctor.
Bye-bye.